get some. My mic quality isn't terrible. Okay, so schedule. That's just trying to cool. And Paris. Okay, let's go, dude. Is it going to let me like open this? Close this. No. Live scene. Let's go. Um, I'm live on Twitch. Yay, I'm live. Okay. Cool. We good, I think. Um, Hopefully. Close Twitter. Go to schedule. Open chat. Okay, cool. So I want to look at this if I can, because okay, because I want to look at Paris because Paris was interesting. Um, Highlights. It was game two. Cool. I don't care. Okay, so I have to use Twitch. Unfortunate. I just got a thing in my ear, and I don't know what it is, and it's scaring me now. So Paris. I'm not gonna. Okay, so this is the comp which I wanted to look at because this is interesting AF. Um, Windows bar on the right. Why would I not have my Windows bar on the right, Gurkhan? Why? There's no point. Just have it on the right, then that way you can. And the thing is, if I have it on the bottom, then sometimes it glitches out, and so I can't exit full screen and stuff. Oh wait, that still happens with. Okay, I can't pause because it's the worst. How? It's just, it's not. Um, okay. Open a WAP. Okay, cool. Start drawing. Yay! Smiley face. Um, okay, so this comp. So Baptiste, Mercy is a support lineup. What's the weird thing about this? can any, like... Okay, I'll just say it. They're both main supports. Um, so, or at least I think they're both main. I would consider both of them main sports by my definition of main sport. My definition of main sport is main support. Um, Something that supports the win conditions. Supports win conditions, and so I mean heroes by that. I don't mean like supports the graph bomb combo. That's not what I mean by win condition here. I just mean, so win condition is in the person who's going to get kills. In goats, that's going to be Xayah because she has the most damage. In a lot of the time, it might be Pharah. In pirate ship, it would be Bastion. In double sniper, it would be Widow. It's the heroes that are going to get the kills and who you enable to get kills. There's one in every comp. In this one, I think they probably switched this, so I'm not gonna say just yet because I'm gonna wait for them to switch and not because I don't think this is a legit comp. But usually it's here's Widow, Pharah, Bastion, that kind of thing. Um, so that's weird. Why have they got two main spots? But because you don't see this often. So three main spots: Baptiste, Lucio, Mercy. What they all have in common is they directly support the win conditions. Mercy sustains them. Mercy sustains the win condition, so she combos really well with Pharah or Widow. Um, and and she has res, she has sustain, she has damage boost. All of that just helps the win condition survive and get kills. Lucio, he has speed boost, which means that if you're at a corner, it means that you can quickly open up that corner. So if you're looking down this way, but the enemy are here, and they're just holding you here, then you have to actually move into this zone to start shooting them, right? Because you can't shoot them from here because there's a wall here. So that's that. So that's what Lucio does. Lucio just means that you can push through, and so he gives you the sight, right? Um, with Mercy, you shouldn't really need the sight that you kind of rely on, like stuff like grapple or something. You have your own movement to give you those sight. But with Lucio, and especially when you're in close range, he gives you the sight. Baptiste, invincibility, right? If you have invincibility, then generally you're going to survive longer than if you didn't have invincibility, right? That's just logic. Um, it's not technically invincibility because it only lasts for a few seconds, but it's still you can't die briefly. Hey Mo, what's up? But so the reason why I'd say Baptiste is a main support instead of a flex support is you don't care about the tanks getting low because tanks have shields and stuff, right? If you need invincibility, it's because they've gotten past the shield. And if they've gone past the shield, then it means they're focusing your win condition. Or and so the thing is your win condition has a lot less health than tanks. So as a result, invincibility is much, much more effective on a win condition DPS. Okay. So that's what we've. You've got a tournament soon. Which tournaments are? Is that Have you done open division for today or? I didn't realize there was something going on right now. I thought, or like, Ruo. I haven't heard of that. That's a new one. Is that is that a smaller one or you played it already? Fairs. How do you do? Yeah. By the way, is my mic better now? Like, not bad. It's a small one. Fairs. But yeah, so mic is good. Let's go, dude. I kind of I had it set to 8,000 hertz before, as in sampling rate, so number of times when the computer, like in a second when the computer picks up an input. And so that's like telephone quality. And so now it's like 48,000. Um, because I only just realized um, when trying to figure out how to fix it today. But yeah, so whatever. Okay, so the thing about having two main supports here is they're not going to be focusing. They're not going to be supporting the same target here. They're very different. Um, so like Lucio and Mercy, you wouldn't have a Lucio and a Mercy both supporting the same target because Mercy is long range, Lucio is short range. Here it's kind of similar. Baptiste wants to play um, kind of short range relatively, um, or at least he has an impact late in the fight. Um, but the thing is, if you're playing at long range, then it's very easy for just burst damage to easily kill you. Like Pharah, Widow, and they can just wait you out if you use Immortality Field. You want to be using IF in the engage, right? So you wouldn't want. And the thing is, Mercy gets destroyed as soon as you've got an engage. Okay, see ya. Thanks for popping by. Good luck in your tournament. Um, but so Mercy gets destroyed in close range, right? She wants to play a long range. Um, Baptiste doesn't. So already we've got kind of a split here. If like just looking at these two, and you also don't have a flex sport. By having two main sports, you don't have a flex sport, right? So what's the job of flex sport? Um, Flex were to be support the tanks. So Zen, Anna, Moira, all flex sports. Um, their their job is to basically help the tanks. Moira, it's very obvious. Um, she gives sustain to the front line, allows them to push forward. Um, so support tanks, tank line. So flex supports are more based around space, right? Or at least supporting the taking of space. There isn't as much, nearly as much focus around um, supporting win conditions, and that's why you don't generally see as much mobility in flex supports because if you're playing around the tanks, then you're not going to need nearly as much movement. Because tanks, the entire idea of tanks is that they can survive in on points in close range kind of thing. I know Ressa, she's at long range, but you want her to be able to survive if she's engaged on in close range. So that's why they don't need nearly as much mobility. Whereas a main support will do because um, you're playing with win conditions, right? And they need to be. They will generally be much more aggressive and much more exposed, right? So flexible supports tank line. So Zen, spam, and Discord is insane against tanks. If you Discord a tank, then they have to back off. They either have to back off or they have to go with the penalty of getting basically melted by most shots if they move forward without a shield. Um, so they just basically provide pressure. Anna heals your tank, so provides friendly based support. Um, allows tanks to survive for a long time and repeatedly take spam. More allows you to just walk forward and then keep going. That kind of thing. So that's the distinction. So what you have here is you don't have that, right? You don't have any pressure from the tanks, um, or the tanks aren't being supported at all. Um, they're basically alone. Um, so what that means is it's much easier to, or like that makes the comp much more reliant on its win conditions. If you don't have the ability to hold space, um, because your tanks aren't getting any support. So I was having this discussion yesterday. The difference between taking space and denying space. So first of all, let's define space as what you can see. So if you can see something, you can shoot them. So space is being able to walk in, is the ability to take those sight lines so that you can see people. It's the defenders here. So defenders, they have access to, they can hold, um, they don't need to take space, right? Um, but what they do need to do is they need to deny space. So denying space means that you have to be able to consistently win the fight in those sight lines, or provide or give potential to get a kill in as while they're in those sight lines. So basically this comp, I've said it before, reliant on win conditions. Um, I kind of repeated the thing about flexibles, but this comp isn't able to take back space. It has to just remain there the entire time and hold. Now let's move on to um, the win conditions. So AKM is on Pharah. Zachary is on Bastion. They're both fairly like long range focused. Bastion is kind of, he can work in close range. He can work at any range. Um, so what you'll see is AKM is comboed with Unco on Mercy, so Pharmacy, then Bastion's comboed with Baptiste. So the thing is here, they're both win condition DPS. They're both in a normal team comp. They would both be the ones getting kills. The difference here is the reason why you'd run this Pharah is basically as a distraction. Like, so the real win condition here is Bastion. So win condition. So what this Pharah does is they have to actually, they can't just put every resource into focusing Bastion. They have to be, the Pharah from being supported by Unku is now a threat, right? Is actually a serious threat. And so what you find is the Pharah will kind of herd. But so the main weakness of Bastion is that he can, if he after he sets up, he can see everything. He can see or everything within his sightlines. But let's say, so okay, let's say there's a corner here. If as soon as they're here, he can't see them. Or if there's even a tiny like object here, if they hide here, he can't see them because he's completely immobile. A soldier could move slightly to the left, and then they'd be able to see them, and then they'd be able to shoot them. But he can't. So what you need is you need like someone else creating pressure, the pressure to potentially get a kill, and kind of herding the enemy team into your sightlines. Because if we then have Pharah up here, they can see that. So oh wait, I need to go here. But oh wait, Bastion can see that. So every area is covered by having this. So now tanks. So again, two main tanks. So if you've been watching the entire time, then you might see there's kind of a pattern. You've got two kind of zones. So two main tanks. So it's basically two different comps here. It might as well be. Um, and so this is kind of a new Bastion way to work around Bastion. At least it's not normally used as much. Or at least we haven't. It's not how your average plat will think of it. So previously, you might have thought Bastion, Orisa, Bap, D.Va, uh, who would we go for? Maybe Zen, Hog, maybe. Um, Yeah, let's go with Hog. Um, and so that's got every resource focused into Bastion. So everything focused into the Bastion. So that's kind of how Goats works right now. Every resource is invested into Ryan, and then because of that, those resources get invested into Xayah, and so Xayah can do damage, and Xayah can win the game. What you've got here is, and so this was kind of, um, they've kind of done this before to some extent. I'm getting tagged on Discord. I'm just gonna check this. Um, uh, uh, okay. So, see if I go schedule, then I go all the way back. I'll try and find this. Um, this isn't an exact kind of showing of um, like what happened, but Dallas versus Philly. No. Yeah. Here. So this was in Jane's kind of Jane did like a competition thing, um, just based entirely around
Dallas Fuel
thing. This one like hold. So oh my god, old goats, widowed. Let's go, dude. Okay. So like I didn't really figure this out at the time when this was run because I didn't really have time, or like I was too lazy. Um, but so basically the entire way this comp was getting played was you kind of had three zones and everything was kind of um and the thing is at any point if you attempt to hard focus a single zone of this, what would happen was you would just get hard counted. The other sides would just destroy you, right? Old Hanzo, yikes. Um, the thing is, they can't focus this Rhine too hard because they've got a Widow pushing main, so they can't just destroy the shield and hope that's done because OG is never going to move into a position where Taimu can't get kills. And then Carpe can't set up properly, and so he gets killed immediately because Taimu just clicks heads, I guess. Um, and so every possible angle is covered because they're playing in this very like you can see this. It's like those two, and then normally Harry Hook would be back here with Widow, but it's kind of it's similar to some extent. Uh, so back to this. So you've got group here, then group here. And so if at any point one group attempt to dive the other group is just going to immediately counter it. So what are Toronto going to run against this? So they're going to run Sombra Genji, Diva Winston, Anna Lucio. So Lucio tells me this comp's played in close range. You can kind of tell that. So Ivy has to get the dash reset here. If he doesn't get the dash reset here, then he immediately dies. This is a single. Okay, so the issue here with this comp is you're playing against two groups. Unless you're very, very confident that you can destroy a single one, so you can kind of, oh, you can't really see it, but there's kind of a split here. So you've got that group, and then Winston is lurking because they haven't scouted him yet, so he doesn't have to actually do anything. But he doesn't have to. Um, he can just lurk here, and then they can look at him and pressure him out when they come around the corner a bit as well. But the issue is when they see Pharah, mm, they're just going to get destroyed because they have nothing to contest Pharah. So their entire plan is just around destroying this core. And the thing is, they have this much space to cover in which Pharah AKM can just spam them constantly. So I think normally you would want to run a Pharah with this. You would want to play split as well. Um, like Biz, I don't think this comp can't really do much to just hard dive this. So they're in cover, so that's fine. So take the rotation. OG is just hiding here. Now the issue here is with OG is that he doesn't actually have any support, so he's just lurking here. Um, so they can probably hard pressure OG. If, right? No, sorry. Okay, so again, he's relying on the Bastion here. Best thing is Ivy, as soon as he comes out, he's gonna get immediately dead. As is Yakpun. As is everyone. Because my boy on Bastion. Um so he doesn't actually need that healing. Normally he'd need like an Ana or something. But he's just not taking any spam because he's playing in correct locations, in the proper locations where Zachary can see what's going on and everything is fine. They've got the setup. IM 37 is ready, should be ready to hack here. But again, these three. OG is going to immediately dive this because Yakpun is incredibly vulnerable, as is IM 37 as soon as he decloaks. Um, as is Ivy. Now, he's dashed. So there's basically like, so at this point there should be a timer in his head. Like, you have like 3 seconds maybe, but to get a dash back. You've just dashed. If you don't get a dash back, then you're probably going to die. Two, one, basically dead. Now he can't get the dash reset because Yakpung is dead. He's got no shield. Neko missed his nade most likely, or it got shielded. And so Thing is, it could be a 6v3 on this. It could be a 6v3 against this Bastion Call thing. But like the way these heroes work, because it's not like they're just Siri, shush. Oh my god. Okay. Um, it's not like they're just winning based on like the heroes basically perfectly interlink. So it's very difficult to actually break through that, even if you're in a 6v3. Um, Now AKM's getting ultimates, and so they can basically use Zach. Okay, so first of all, Zachary doesn't really want to use tank form unless things get messy. Um, he just wants to continue playing as normal. And AKM has Barrage, so he can. So Yakpun is even more dead if he tries to do anything. Why are they using Valiant sprays? What? Are they TPing? Okay. Nade gets used very early. Nade doesn't have follow up. They don't have Zen, so they can't hard focus Bastion. That okay, so Nano gives Yakpun more time to survive. Neko's about to die, most likely. And so they kill Zachary. I'll give them that. They sleep AKM somehow. Um, oh wait, no, he was barraging. Okay, that makes more sense. Um, so they've basically done it. They've actually the core has been properly focused and it's nailed it. But now you have to deal with this, and you've lost Ivy and Neko. So OG's just tearing up the backline with Primal, which because so I'm not sure why OG was that a choice that he made just to consciously not Primal Yakpung, but instead Primal the support? If it was, I don't like that. But okay, in any case, so Zachary switches over to Tracer. Note switches over to D.Va. Okay, so I'm gonna say that was a mistake. I think they messed up that bad. Um, OG should have been on Yakpung immediately. Um, I think potentially it's usually like very like weird mistakes that will lose you. Um, like okay, so OG he's lurking again. Nothing happens to him though, so it's fine. Close should be putting up wall. Put up wall, put up wall, put up wall. He's on the ground here, he's vulnerable. He should probably be on the high ground here. He shouldn't be on the ground. He should be ready to dive this immediately. He should be diving now. Um, yeah, I don't like that. OG dive. Closer, why do you not have wall up already? Fuck's sake. Zachary's health is low. Zachary's health is gone. Wall should be have already been down. Wall still isn't down. Like, as soon as they come through in that opening, that's your period of time in which you can do stuff. Like, yeah, that's probably closest, but I didn't mean to do that. Then AKM barrages as a counter. OG is on the back line, but it's whatever. Because they don't actually care about the back line. As soon as the like your focus needs to be on just the tanks, because as soon as the tanks is gone, they've basically lost the push, because they're relying entirely on burst, and burst isn't really supported by the support, right? Like Ana is before that, so it doesn't really matter if they lose Ana, because who cares? They're mid-engage. So the focus should have just been on thanks. Then he uses it finally, but it's not about to get anything. And he's going to switch anyway, so it's fine. Or at least it's fine that he used the wall, and it's not really a waste. But so now, now what are they running? Firstly, that's sad. Um, so Nanoblade against Trace Sombra. So again, this is a very close range comp, like Toronto are running. Well, it's basically the same thing. Why are they not running Zen? They're not. Why are they not running a Zen? Uh, I don't know. Probably for, well, so why do they want the fight to? So what Ana does is Ana allows the tanks to survive for much longer. Um, and set up for and like soft engage for much longer. Um, I'm not sure why they'd want to do that though. And in the engage, she has kind of she's quite offensive. So I guess it's probably because um, they don't feel they need to rely on Discord at this point to help the DPS, because the DPS during the engage are um, have enough burst damage to. It's like um, you don't need heals. You don't need a Discord on a Widow headshot because they're going to die anyway. Um, that kind of thing. So I think this is mostly for the sake of the tanks being able to um, actually kind of. It's not really represented that well in this clip. Or in this kind of Yeah, pause. Um, like yeah, so you don't want your so I'm assuming basically it's just they want their tanks to survive for as long as possible during the engage because their win conditions are very vulnerable normally. And so they're kind of reliant on that disruption. It's like more disruption focused over actual damage. Um, Ivy dives, gets hacked and killed by Anku. Um, this comp is kind of more based around when you're running Tracer. It's kind of you have a lot more options in terms of being able to counter engage because Tracer can go basically in whatever direction. Um, and she can do that as can Sombra, but whereas Genji has a much harder time doing that because he only has one direction forward, and then he has to keep going forward or keep committing to whatever is here so that he can get the dash reset and then survive and then kill more things. Um, Tracer can come in here and then be like, and then just dance around it a lot more. Um, right? Or she can just be here and then shoot the thing to her left or something. Um, so you can actually counter engage on targets properly, whereas um, if a Genji gets dived, he's probably going to die unless he's got a healer right next to him, like Nana, um, because he doesn't really have that escape, um, or at least his escape is combined with his offensive ability. It's like a plane. If like you've never seen a plane moving backwards. Planes go forwards because they're like because they're going forwards. Right? If that makes sense. They fly based off their own momentum. Like if a plane stops moving, then it will die. Then it will fall out of the sky and crash. That's what Genji is. If Genji stops moving forward, then he doesn't get the dash reset, then he goes down. Sad face. Big sad face. Um So it has been 50 minutes and I'm 5 minutes in. Let's go, dude. Um, Zachary is switching to Brig. They're going to switch to. Yesterday, I called this Sombra and a float in my head, and I'm ashamed because it's not that. So the main kind of. Okay, so the reason they're running this is because they have EMP up. The reason they've made the switch is because so it's transitional. Any chance you can get in here? You can. I mean, sure, I guess. Sure. Uh, wrong thing. Uh, yeah. If you call me, then I'll.
Discord, aren't you? So it'll be harder for you to swap over.
Sorry?
Right. Let's know what we're looking at. Visor.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I assume visor. I think you're muted, that's why.
Okay. I don't think I'm muted. Is it good now? Testing.
I just hear your stream, just not you, which is a weird champ.
Weird champ. Okay. Testing. 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 Put device. Default. Okay. Okay. Are we good? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're good. I can hear the echo through the stream, so you should be okay.
Okay. Cool.
Pardon. Visor it is?
Visor is down. So I'll just use this.
What are you using at the moment? Oh, bit of screen share.
Yeah, let's go, dude.
Fuck it, why not, dude? We're going full
easy
scuffed.
clap. Okay.
Right. This was a really interesting game to me because I feel like those two teams were even going into it, but like Dallas just fucking shat on them.
I mean, I basically don't watch Overwatch League beyond analysis and watching Dallas's games. So I get that
Toronto are good. They made playoffs. They got knocked out in the first round to Philly, I think, but
yeah,
like,
I know that Toronto are generally
a decent
considered
team.
good, or
They're like
considered decent.
They're like stage 3 LA Valiant from last year. They were like pretty They were like they're like just a mid-level team. They're kind of like they're good, but they're like not particularly the most exciting team or the most known. But like a team with Envy, Neko, Ivy in is just a very good team.
Okay.
Those three in the middle there, the pod.
Yeah. So so this comp is purely transitional. They don't. You wouldn't normally want to run this because you don't actually have a win condition DPS.
EMP? No.
That's not a DPS. That's it.
Or the Sombra.
Yeah. So.
Actually, we're off tank.
EMP is a win condition because Sombra is a DPS, but she's not really a win condition. She can't do nearly as much damage as you'd actually need for a win condition. DPS would be Widow, Bastion, Pharah, that kind of thing.
Right. Kree,
yeah.
Yeah. Trait. No, I'm trying to think of which ones. Sombra's more of a setup, isn't she?
Yeah, Sombra is basically full setup. So
I'm guessing they set up and then they hard dive, maybe with Nano.
Yeah, well, so they're going to hold her, then they're gonna EMP as they come through here, or they come through
here.
And then that should be basically easy because they're probably gonna be focusing. Actually, I don't know if they need to, but so they don't have Discord, so they. Okay, they could probably focus Yakpun, because micro missiles. So kind of relying on D.Va as the win condition here. Although that's not optimal to an extent. But they're gonna switch off Sombra immediately to Azaya because you don't.
I'd imagine it just floats. Yeah, after the EMP.
Just standard Ana floats.
The Spitfire run a comp similar to this against Stormquake on King of the Hill maps. They run Bedosin on the Moira, who's the off support. Then they run basically dive with a Prophet on the Sombra.
Moira Sombra goats or Moira Sombra floats?
They run Lucy on Moira, dive tanks, bridge, Sombra. So it's like Super McCree, but instead of the Zen, you have the Moira, and instead of the Cree, you have the Sombra.
Okay.
Which is what I thought this comp was. I'm like, this is just a bit stuffed Super McCree.
So that's kind of well, so you okay, so basically Moira basically works did you see the plane analogy? Or
No, I think
okay.
I missed it.
Okay, so planes go forward, they stay in the sky based off their own going forwardness.
Yep, that is
Right?
Moira.
Yeah. If you like
Stop going forward.
if you stop going forward, then the plane crashes.
Yes.
If you go backwards, then the plane crashes. If somehow you go backwards, then the plane crashes. If you go either side, the plane crashes. If you go anywhere but forwards, then it'll crash. So the issue with that is if you don't have any damage, at some point you have to stop.
Mm.
At some point you have to stop because you run out of healing, and
Yeah.
the way you stop should be ideally by
On
killing someone.
point. Yeah.
If you kill someone, then that means you can basically just ride the wave and you don't actually need much healing. And if you kill the entire team, even better, because then the fight stops and then you can just reset your position. So it's kind of awkward in that you're kind of relying on D.Va to actually do damage here with micro missiles, and she's not really that good at doing that. And so that kind of becomes an issue when you've got a D.Va who has to play incredibly aggressive when she's just not built for that.
Yeah.
And obviously just lacking that. So EMP comes in as they walk through, they're vulnerable. Focus is on Yakpung. OG is diving the backline, he's splitting them. Neko can't shoot through the bubble, so Yakpung's not getting any healing. Note uses micro missiles immediately. And then he's going to boost in a second, and Yakpung should die. And so Unco nades, so this is fine, they don't need to commit anything else to this. And then AKM is going to should immediately switch to Xayah. Does he switch? Yes, he switches to Xayah. Okay. So that's the transition fight. Now they're just running normal floats. Is Yakpung going to switch? Is Yakpung staying? I would switch if I was in his position.
Is Ryan Jotes not better against Winston Jotes though?
No, it's not really. It's better in situations such as probably best example is King's Row. Oh.
Like streets and shit.
King's Row streets, yeah. What the name is. So streets is a good example, but anywhere you can like back off quick. So here
You have hotel.
Here you've got
Sure.
So these two sightlines make up the last area of the point. If you as a float team dive here, then that's fine because they don't really have time to back off here. If you dive here, then because Xayah is relatively quite slow, so you can't. So if she's here and she's shooting here, if they go inside here, then you're not going to actually follow up on that properly, and then you're going to lose out. If you engage here and Xayah's just shooting here, then they have to move all the way back there, and so
yeah, exactly. They have to retreat.
Yeah, so it's all about cutting off the sightline if you can, because the way floats works best in the engage, right?
Yeah.
It can hard engage like instantly because you've got Winston, and you can hard engage from much longer range. But the issue comes when you don't have the actual follow-up necessary to get value out of that, and so that's when, and on maps where you've got very close corners, then you have issue. On this map, it's like not that's not really the case. The point is incredibly open, and so you're probably gonna, as soon as you move on to the point, you're gonna get dived. So I should probably cover why they're running. Is this gonna? Okay, never mind.
Fucking owl chat.
I should probably cover why they're not running. I just got
Zen.
pinged.
Well, they're running down there.
Yeah, why they're running Ana. So Zen got nerfed. That doesn't mean that he's
I mean, he's still good.
yeah, he's still good. He's by no extent bad, but Ana has a much easier time of healing through stuff. Basically.
My first thought was also like nano, like damage reduction and the burst heal.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a bit-
it's generally just because previously Ana Goats has been hard countered by running Zen
Zen
because you can just burst through their heals, but that's kind of happens less. And then in floats, it's basically standard that you're running an Ana because you want to have that. Because Winston doesn't have the shield, so he's going to be taking much more spam, and by having an Ana, it means that you can survive throughout the fight despite taking spam because you get healed back to full health and it's fine.
London did it quite well yesterday. Bedosin rotated his cooldowns, like, because he had nano a lot, basically off cooldown.
Yeah,
They'd like aggress onto gesture, use all their cooldowns on him, then they'd like to nano him either just before or as they were killing him, and he gets healed for essentially 500 because of damage reduction.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that's another 500 HP we've got to kill at that point. Like, he was just fucking staying alive and then allowing Profit to carry.
yeah.
So
Here Unku
Anyway.
misses his nade, which is why so
Unco misses nade.
yeah. So the only reason why he's able to extend so much here is because you're running Ana.
Just the nano and nade.
Yeah, so he heals him. He can stay here forever. Issue is that Unku missed his nade.
You get more healing with Bridge Pack as well, don't you? With nade. If you nade and then repair pack them, you do more healing, don't you?
Yeah, but
yeah, that's also.
Repair pack you'd normally just use kind of. I mean, I prefer repair pack on Diva usually because she's going to be going quite aggressive, but I'm not so sure about the infloats. So he misses his nade because he doesn't see that the stairs are going to make it go further. And so then that means OG has to back off, whereas previously their plan was kind of to just hard pressure Rein there.
He has Primal though, so it's not too bad.
He has Primal, so it's not too bad, but they still have to back off because
definitely.
missed nade, they can't follow up on that, whereas previously they would have kind of wanted to do that. So now again, he's just hiding in at this corner. They can't quite shoot him, initially at least, and so he can play much more open, but his next corner to hide behind is there or the statue.
Probably play around statue quite easily.
Yeah, so there's Nano, there's Primal, there's he's probably gonna want to
so if
first.
So if Envy yeets bomb over the statue now onto Unco's side, for example, so who's that on the left there? Is that Zachary straight ahead of Unco on the left?
Zachary,
on the left.
AKM.
That's AKM. So if he places bomb just a bit back of AKM, what does Unco do here? What are his options?
Does
it just accept the death, or does he?
He's close enough.
I'm pretty sure.
He can.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he can cover. I was thinking, like, so he's just out at the open there. Like, this spot is really good for Diva bombs. It's like fucking insane because it's so open.
Yeah, I mean that's just generally an issue like mid fight. If
Mm.
if you have a CC, then bottom is always gonna get kills her.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
so AKM gets nanoed because they want to prioritize damage over space because they have enough space from OG bombing. So
The nano ATM.
I took sorry.
The nano ATM. I'm just
Yeah.
saying. They
So
put them.
yeah. And so I talked about this yesterday. So it's kind of a
Mm.
cycle between space and damage. So
Right.
every hero, every hero in every comp is base, or there's a hero who is focused on taking space, the main tank, and
Yeah.
the main hero that's focused on doing damage. So in this it would be Winston Zaya, and this would be Ryan and Zaya.
Mm.
Otherwise it might be Winston and Pharah, Hammond and Pharah, Hammond and Widow,
Yeah.
Ursa and
Winston
Widow,
Tracer.
stuff like that. So if you have space, then it means that you have sightlines and you can see people and you can shoot people, and then that means you can do damage. Uh, and then if you have damage, that means you can deny space or kill them while they're in your space,
Mm.
because you can see them and you can shoot them, and then they die. Uh, if you don't have damage, then this doesn't happen, and they just push back into you. And so that's
Yeah.
kind of the issue when you're running a Sombra, because you don't have consistent damage to disperse you, and they just walk back into you.
Yeah.
Here, they're nanoing this, and they're nanoing this to add on to the damage.
Mm.
Because so nanoing AKM, nanoing the damage area. That's because OG's already provided enough space. Because Yakplan has to back off because he isn't getting the healing, but his Neko is getting thrown around like a basketball,
Yeah.
probably. Um, that's what we can assume is happening. And then, so at this point, AKM just bubbled Zachary. That's because Zachary is basically their main, basically their Ryan at this point. Because OG is off in nowhere, doing whatever he likes. So that bubble was try and get him to push forward because if Zachary pushes forward, then that means he triggers Inspire, which means that AKM can push further, and so they kind of have that rotation going. And so that's kind of Zachary isn't in control of space here as much because
Mm.
OG's really in control of that. But for the moment, Zachary's kind of second in command here.
Yeah.
Um, that is unfortunate. So basically, what I'm gonna assume happened is OG wasn't doing enough. Um, because AKM had the damage there. Like he had a nano, he has them. He could definitely do the damage, but OG wasn't really doing enough. OG's gonna move to Hamster because it means that he can get back into the fight faster, and then he can disrupt and potentially give space for AKM to do stuff. AKM died, so he's coming back on zero charge, which is bad. If he could have just backed off, then that would have been better. But then he starts on full charge. He doesn't really want to use these bubbles to get charge. He wants to use them to protect people. Um, and then round complete. So then I think Toronto run. Um, do they run the same thing? No, they run the Widow Junk. Um, so win condition DPS here is Widow. Junkrat is good in that he prevents.
It's only the threat of the wrecking ball, which is just
Yeah,
Junkrat
so
spam damage.
yeah, so he's a really big threat to the Wrecking Ball. So he's kind of replacing the Roadhog, in
Mm.
the you might run Roadhog in other situations to hack him. Um, it's kind of weird that they're running so the Brig is just a counter to Wrecking Ball. Um, you wouldn't normally run that. Normally, I'd kind of prefer a Zen to be honest, but um, it seems that by having Brig, they kind of enable this portion of the comp as opposed to IM37 and Mercy, which is kind of weird. I
So
mean,
playing Mercy Bridge, Diva.
so if you're in a tank-based, tank-focused meta, then I can kind of see this in that you want to put as much focus in helping your tanks survive everything. But and I suppose they can't reach IM37, so I think their kind of logic is that they don't really need to support him as much because as long as he's hitting headshots, then it's fine.
Yeah.
Um,
And then just gonna go back to.
so what are they gonna run?
They're doing double
Okay.
sniper. They're doing moth. They're doing moth meta. The moth
Yeah,
comp, I call
so
it.
Mono
Just your
Healer,
left guard
double
unit.
sniper.
Yeah, the playoff comp, the moth
Yeah.
comp, as I've nicknamed it, because you
Yeah,
have
so
Valkyrie up you have Valk up all the time, basically.
yeah, so this is so it's very shield based. It's basically abusing everything which this comp gets wrong. Um, Ivy can't do nearly as much damage to shields as Zachary can, or nearly as much consistent damage. Um, Neko does nothing
Yeah,
against anything that isn't
snipers.
close range. Yeah. And then so Unku just has more shield break and the hook combo.
Yeah,
And it's good to some extent that they're not running the Zen in the Brick can actually shield the hook. Um,
surely the win comp for Definer is just build Tyre as fast as possible.
yeah, so if they can
Pray to God they doesn't get shot down.
build Tyre, then they should win. Although it's unlikely
Ivy gets AKM with spam.
Yeah, that's gonna get rezzed immediately though. Hopefully.
Yeah, there you go. Well, at that point, he's 74 on Tyre and he's just balls deep in their team.
Yeah, so
AKM kills.
two.
I'm pretty sure he kills another one in a second
He should
as well.
kill Ivy. Yeah, Ivy is
Yeah,
mid.
he's mid. I'm pretty sure he's about to get glitched on.
Thing.
Yep, there you go.
Okay, that's good. Okay, so that was OG initially really messed that up in that he came way too close into a position where Junkrat was actually favorable over Hanzo. So no ate a few of ate one of his concussion mines at least.
Yeah.
But okay. So I think basically everyone in Dallas Fuel just played way too close initially.
Yeah.
But the
thing is, how did they end up winning then? Is that just Toronto making mistakes? Like Neko just walks back to a point and gets headshot by AKM.
Yeah, so Toronto just wanted to abuse that way too early. They should have just destroyed the shield, then kept their own shield up at the same time, and then just relied on IM37. But yeah, it's but they kind of put everything into Ivy there when Ivy doesn't really have the capability to do anything like that. And then they lost shield and then they died. So now they're switching Neko over from Brig to Hog, which is better in that he has way more shield break. And they're keeping Ivy because Tyre. And basically whatever this Tyre gets, it should get value. This is kind of like a new thing. Base Junkrat, like this didn't used to happen, which I'm I quite like this has started happening. He's not gonna die because
DM and heals.
yeah, like Dallas are backing off. They don't really care about a single Junkrat. Ivy should switch to Hanzo now. Why is he switching to a Brig? Are they switching to
They're going
Goat?
goats.
Okay,
I'm
Goat.
playing Moira goats.
Okay.
And they're probably just
Dallas.
going to see they go goats and go back to Zen now at Anna. There you
Okay.
go.
Yeah, there's no reason why they'd run Moira Goats there.
No.
Just Zen Goats.
They were, I think, expecting the spam comp, so that's why.
Yeah. So
But
reason why they're running Zen Goats, whereas so previously it was Anna because you kind of want Anna against floats because it means your Ryan can survive longer and potentially counter engage. Here it's just like Zen Goats is still the standard
mm,
most of the time. Uh, at least in the standard Goats mirror. I think as attackers here, you don't want to do it unless they run floats. I wouldn't run floats. So this makes sense. Big thing is they have a lot of options to back off to, um, especially in this first phase. Note uses bomb, and they've got okay. Uh, okay. Is this up? I think. Okay, I think this is it. We're back.
we're back.
Okay,
Here we are.
so note bombs. OG isn't close enough,
Why does
and
he bomb? Why does he bomb? All of a sudden, this is a D.Va player. Did he bomb for space?
yeah,
Yeah.
that was just to let OG because so the thing is in Goats, D.Va and Ryan is kind of alternate jobs as being the main space taker. Like
Yeah.
it's usually not in so usually you kind of have so two angles like D.Va here, then Ryan pushing from main, and so the D.Va has the advantage in that she can take high ground, and so she's exposed at the same time, but it's still, and so she kind of helps a lot in Ryan taking space almost as much as Zaya does
Yeah.
with bubble. Um,
If you play bomb as well, you can probably force out Zarya bubbles with it as
yeah,
well,
so
which is
at
good.
least you force attention here because
Mm.
Yakping is focusing entirely on the bomb, but they kite this out well. Um, they're not actually taking too much damage. Ivy is able to comfortably heal Neko up.
So Neko's on about 1 HP there.
Yeah, I mean, so if Ivy hadn't hit that um, the armor pack on Neko, then probably we're dead. But Bearsy did, it's fine. Where's Unko?
Unko is
Unko's here.
back left. Is he back left? No, back left.
No,
Back right.
he's back right. I would have preferred him to be here.
Mm.
I mean, I don't know if this was scouted, but I mean, well, so your Zen's positioning is kind of dependent entirely on scouting. If you're confident that your Zen has better mechanics and that their Zen is going to play aggressive, then or try to peek you, then I'd focus that. But I don't. I think Unko can probably abuse Neko a bit more here. I don't know if I'm misreading like a few small plays that he's made, but it looks like Neko is quite aggressive and Unko could probably abuse that. Whereas here, I'm
Yeah,
doing
Neko is
nothing.
general, like quite aggressive. He has
Yeah.
a shit ton of damage numbers, which just tells me that yeah, he is going for
Yeah. So no
aggressive
gets
plays.
taken super low. Zachary needs. Where did Armpack go? Armpack just went on OG. Armpack
Yeah, it did.
did it. Uh,
Yes, it did.
yeah, it just did. Okay.
You see it spike up there.
Yeah, I saw it.
That or it was like an amp heal. No, it
Oh,
was
yeah,
definitely a
that
repair
was
pack
it
from
was
Lucio.
there. So
Can't heal ain't that
I
quick.
would have preferred that on note. I would have preferred that to be on note because
Oh no.
I think note could really do with just hard focusing Envy. I don't think. And so what are they actually? So Yakpung's down.
Yeah.
Okay, so
There's Potter Rally.
Never mind. That's actually okay because um,
They Potter Rally and then he just
there's
OG
AKM on
shatters.
hard focus Envy. So
He denies heals as well, I think, with his personal bubble.
yikes, charge. But
Oofies.
then that's fine.
Should be fine though, like respawns.
Then they went. So
Yeah, exactly.
Yakpung just played too far away from corners, I guess. I didn't really pay attention to ult
Yeah,
structure.
we were looking at the fuel there.
Yeah.
Sardo had this problem yesterday, and he was getting abused on Twitter by Philly fans. But again, like the average Philly fan, I mean the average Overwatch League fan. Sorry, I don't want to generalize and just call Philly fans brain dead, but the average Overwatch fan that watches Goats just doesn't understand it because there's so many micro plays. And it was like,
Yeah.
oh, Sado died first. Because Sado died 25%. That was his stat for first team death percentage. I'm pretty sure that was in the. I don't know if that was in the whole lobby or just on his team.
I mean, most of the time, unless you're playing against a team that wants to, that has a different place, like a weird different play style, then you usually
So to Sado.
probably die first.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Anyway.
Dallas are running the same thing. So
Yep.
this is split. You've got then. So okay. Instant theory crafting against this. I would just I would prefer.
Surely Sombra breaks this. Surely just EMP deletes this.
No, because it's split.
Immortality field.
If you can. Yeah. So if you can. So the main issue here is that if you try and delete one of them, then the other one can probably kill you. So
What's that hero in the middle?
Sorry?
What's that hero in the middle that AKM's on? No, not Pharah. Who's that left of him? That's OG. What's OG on? Is he a monkey? Oh, I can't see because of the fucking graphics.
Is it low?
Screen share's like 360, I think.
Okay. I set it to 1080. Is it good now?
We will see, Chief. Oh, that's so much better.
Okay, cool. So
I can see the heroes. Pod you. Let's go, dude.
But yeah, I think if you can. So firstly, I want a pharmacy against this. So Pharah, Mercy.
Like they have two very capable Pharahs in Envy and Ivy on that team, so it's definitely not like off the table for them. It's not like there's a Spitfire and their best Pharah's profit.
Yeah. So Pharah, Mercy. So that
Profit's Pharah is dog shit.
So that's mirroring Unco and AKM. Then
OG's like point contest, pretty much.
Yeah.
With the added plus that he shits on snipers a bit harder than
the host. Let's go, dude.
Pog
you, yeah. So, and then against this, so pharmacy is just to counter those two, basically. To give them something to think about.
Yeah.
Then if I just focus this, so I want a Winston.
Yeah.
because I want to. Do I want a Winston?
Surely you want a
Because
diva.
um, I don't think I. Well, so I won't think about that just yet, but I don't want to think about which main tank I want. I
That's
think
to beat this comp.
yeah. So
I was on about.
if you're so Winston doesn't. So Hammond doesn't actually do anything.
Apart from he's just a bit of a distraction, I guess.
Yeah, but so main thing is he doesn't actually. So I think actually I will go with
You can't
Winston.
knock the Bastion up,
Yeah.
and then Closer just will bat fucking
So
minefield it straight away.
I'll go with Winston, and then with that I'll go with an Anna, to heal him. Then then I'll add a Tracer. Then either I can go Diva, which I
Mm.
probably won't, or I'll go Sombra.
Yeah, I'd probably go Sombra.
I think I'm gonna go Sombra.
Winston Sombra.
So
This is what you'd run into this.
so what I've got here, so I've got a
Just EMP
split
branch as well.
kind of win condition here.
Mm.
So I've got the Tracer as my primary ground win condition.
Yeah.
Then I've got the Pharmacy to deal with these up here.
Mm.
Sombra can help me kill Bastion.
Probably land a
I'm not.
cheeky hack on the
Yeah,
Farah as well, if needs.
yeah. I think I can probably deal with that. So, and the other option is so this is option number option 1. Um, the other option would be with a hog. So if I run Orisa, no,
I'm
that's
low-key surprised teams don't try and just go for a cheeky May hog strat and just wall the Bastion up and hook him.
they'd get hard countered by the Pharaoh. This is why the strat
Yeah,
actually
true.
works on defense. Normally
True.
you wouldn't run anything like this on defense. Um, so Orisa for shield, then maybe Nadiva to
Diva
prevent
seems
spam.
really good against their comp.
Yeah, so
The
they
thing
don't.
is, they have a lot of spam though, and like that's gonna really strain the
Yeah, so they have a lot of spam, but they don't have anything that actually helps the tank. So what if I um because I think the comp is kind of baiting you into just hard focusing this Bastion core.
mm,
Because the thing is you can't nail down any of these heroes here because they're too
yeah,
mobile. Um, so I think could you nail that down? So could you nail that down with a hog? No, you couldn't. So I'm going to continue going with Bastion, or going with focusing the Bastion core. Um, Currently I'm sticking with option 1. Um, but Orisa Diva, me, so Hog, then what would then Widow? Yeah, money. So Widow. Yeah, I think that could work. I think you could because they lose if he gets pulled out of. Yeah, so I think two options would be Mono Healer, Double
yeah,
Sniper, um, or Sombra
double
Pharaoh
snipe.
Tracer with some Merciana. This is weird because you wouldn't normally want to run Winston, but because he provides better protection against. So I've actually got the same group, except I've got instead of closer the BAP Bastion, Orisa. I've got Tracer Sombrana. So yeah, I'm happy with that. Actually, I'll actually add that.
What in your comps list?
No, I'm just gonna add. So add source, add new source, mute.
Streamlabs.
Option 1. So Farah, Sombra, Tracer, Winston, Anna, Lucio. Option 2. So Widow, Hanzo,
Orisa, Diva, Hog, Mercy.
Hog,
Moth comp.
Yeah, so cool. Cool. And I'm just gonna check on stream that this doesn't look awful.
Go for it. I can check if you want. I'll just open your stream.
So, god damn it, it's like it's in an ad.
Ads on Twitch. Dan's game.
Yeah.
You don't even get royalties off that, do you?
No.
Like off, yeah, exactly. They play ads on your stream and you don't even get money from it. Feels bad, man.
Feels bad, man. It doesn't look too bad. So, okay.
I get it's Twitch, but still.
Okay, then. So now onto the other comp. So Widow, Genji, Sombra. So you're playing around Widow? No, Widow is to focus the pharmacy. Widow is to distract the pharmacy. Then you're focusing Hammond, Genji, Sombra. Everyone else is focused to. I'm not sure if you can focus the pharmacy with just a Widow. Not gonna lie. I think potentially, but if they set up where they were set up, as in further to the left, where you have a much wider angle, yes, but not if you. So if they set up here, then Widow's going to get destroyed by Farah immediately.
Yeah.
Like, otherwise, yeah, I can see if they do set up further away, then yeah, Widow could potentially work. Never mind, they're switching.
Ivy's done a stout, I think.
Yeah, so this is almost a comp which I theory crafted a while ago, except it had Hammond instead of Diva. Exactly for this map, but it had Hammond instead of Diva because it was against Goats. But it wasn't a good one because it had Genji. But so again, they're entirely focused. So they're doing the same thing as last time, but again, they're entirely focused on the Bastion. So I'm 37 is setting up here. They're just waiting for that to happen. I'm 37 gets taken out of Invis. Yakpin dives. OG is pressuring on Ivy, so which is bad. Yakpin tries to split, which I really like that bubble because it just shows good mechanics, but it's also bad because he's still going to die. Now Closer better use his wall this time and not use it super late, otherwise I will be mad. So oh, they almost killed Unko, but they didn't quite. So they're gonna push through early so that they don't get farmed by OG. Zachary gets hacked, yikes, but AKM almost has barrage, so that's gonna be used immediately. Close, he uses wall. He shouldn't be using wall at this point in the fight. He's going to die if he does that. Yeah, I don't like that at all. AKM can just barrage as soon as he needs to. Like, then good aim equals win. Um, I don't like that. Closer needs to work hard on his Baptiste. It's like honestly so bad.
New hero. I didn't think he'd be the one picking up Baptiste. Like, Close's Mercy is actually not that bad.
Yeah, I mean, I think they might just want to prepare him for the future, I guess, because Baptiste is basically just your main support. So, and if Anku has any support, any like experience on Mercy, then it's like whatever.
Yeah.
But I expect Anku probably just doesn't have any experience on Baptiste. OG gets slept while primaling, and Zachary wasn't able to set up properly, so he's just gonna. So at this point, it's basically like two walls of rock, like pounding into each other. Or no, I mean like two things coming at Toronto here, and they're gonna get Zachary. Okay. Okay, that should get barraged. AKM should have barrage. He's going to use it and then no, that's depressing. They're gonna try. Note is going to probably use supercharger. Oh wait, no. Okay. That's fine. They have 30 seconds. Yikes. Then that's gonna be switch to Zachary. Oh my god, please put. Oh, I wanted a tracer float. That would be fun. Okay. What does this do? So they don't have Zaya. So OG can't survive as long. The issue with this is if Dallas Fuel press W, basically.
Well then.
Yeah, it's because Yak put so float is 5-1. So that means you've got
the
these
5, and then there's obviously the Ana.
These 5 being like separate, and then you've got Winston as the one person. So
right,
Winston,
everyone
else. I need to learn how to like do that faster, but so the way it works is you have basically the space game at the start is based entirely around the Winston, and because he has every resource base put into him, so so they're just dancing around at corners, and the rest of the team try and kind of move around that and start setting up for an engage. McCree is very, very good at the start of that, because, or at least McCree can kind of do work at the start of that because he can kind of pressure OG slightly, but Unco exists, so he's going to heal up OG. The issue is that basically he can't really replace Bubble because OG is going to get bubbled. If anything, IM37 is just going to feed AKM charge, and
it's just not going to do anything. It's just to get run over.
Yeah, Yakpuni is just going to get absolutely run over. or at least he should do. I think what they're trying to abuse is that they can press W, meanwhile it's a lot harder for Fuel to press W because they don't have nano bomb, those things. I'm getting pinged.
Yeah, that was me.
That was
Just
you.
any of
Okay.
the tweet from last night for the Spitfire
Okay.
screenshots. Sardo got shit on. Anyway,
Fairs.
back to the
So
Toronto Fuel game.
yeah, so they have everything.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
as soon as, and so they just want to press W. This is a really early engage. You wouldn't normally. This is kind of weird.
I think they see the McCree and just think, "Fuck it, let's just delete him."
Yeah, I think they should have waited longer for that. But I think they want to try and prevent any ult initially.
Who's on point for Defiant?
That was
Defiant are on defense
5e.
here. Yeah, they are.
Then
So they get the mech.
they take out note because the Dallas engaged way too early. Then
True.
Toronto could just counter engage.
But like, if they keep AKM up, he should carry this. So
yeah.
Does Note bomb there, or does he just
no, just dies.
We back on the potato.
Yeah, so just easy death.
It's like they delete the Div and then 37.
Yeah,
Jin
so
just clicks
basically just ult. But it's an overtime to the
yeah.
And Toronto going to run.
I think this was a rough game for Toronto because Dallas had obviously been very, very prepared and had integrated Note quite well.
Yeah.
Whereas all they had to do was integrate a new Diva on the side of Dallas, whereas Defiant had to integrate a new Brig and a Zarya, if you get me, because Stella was the Brig. Obviously, he's retired. So they have to move Ivy over, who was their Zarya, who plays he plays a lot differently, I think.
Yeah.
37 seems to play a lot more. I think he tries always to get the best value out of Bubble that he can, regardless of like tempo, you know?
Yeah.
Like he'll save Bubble for the absolute like best situation that he can.
Yeah.
It's almost like he's playing a fucking card game and he's like saving the best resource for the best answer.
Yeah.
Whereas Ivy's just like, yeah, fuck it, dude. I'm gonna go on 100 energy and beam these fuckers.
Fair.
But a lot more aggressive, which is better, I think, because Yakpung has a tendency to just feed and get deleted. Yakpung is like a B-Tech Sardo or level with Sardo in my eyes. They're quite similar players. In terms of playstyle and level. Yeah. I think someone like Ivy Zarya would be better, but yeah, in terms of Defiance just falling down, I think it does come from integrating a Zarya